Good evening, students. How are you doing? So, hope you are doing well. Today's topic, we are covering chapter 15 of CA Final, paper 3, which is overview of audit of PSUs. So, before going into the chapter, first let us discuss the weightage of the chapter. So, as you all know that paper 3 has been divided into 5 sections, and third section where chapter 15 belongs to. So it has 17% to 24%. So every chapter will get 3 to 5% on an average. So today we are covering chapter 15, which is part of section 3. The weightage is around 3 to 5 marks. So whenever we are reading a chapter, we should assume that we are giving the questions coming from that chapter would be for 100 marks. Okay, we will give 100% importance to every chapter and equally to every subject. So let us have aerial view of chapter 15 first. Then we will understand, we'll go into details further. So how to remember entire chapter 15? So we will understand first what is definition of PSU, what all comprises of PSU, which entities called as PSUs, that we will be discussing. Thereafter, we'll be discussing the framework of audit of PSUs, elements of PSUs, principles, types, and audit report, final deliverable, right? So the entire chapter is summarized in 5 topics. So once we know these 5 topics, we can easily recall, retrieve what we have learnt in this chapter. So I'll just repeat. We will first understand what PSUs are comprises of. Then we will be discussing framework, and then moving to elements, principles, types, audit report. So at every level, we will discuss questions as well. So let us first understand what is PSU mean, what is PSU is all about. So the public sector undertaking, so it may be a government department, it may be a ministry, it may be a listed entity, it may be a large corporate, right? So if it comes to a corporate, so if a corporate which equity shareholding is owned by central government or state government, or central government, partly by central government, partly by state government, more than 50%, 51% or more, if they hold, then that entity is called as public enterprise, right? So not only companies, there are departments like you have police department, you have government schools, government colleges, all these also form part of public sector undertaking. So let us see few examples. So the shareholding more than 51%, when it comes to a company limited, when it comes to a company, more than 51% is owned by central government, maybe held by state government, or partly by central government, partly by state government, or partly by different state governments also will be considered as PSUs. So here the criteria is 50%, 51% or more. So let us see few examples also. So Coal India Limited, it is owned by central government. Different RTCs, you can talk about KSRTC, APSRTC, state driven undertakings, these are, that is central driven, this is state driven. Similarly, Delhi Metro Rail Corporation, it is owned by Government of India and Government of Delhi. So it is owned by both central government and state government. So here government has the stake in case of owning. What do you mean by controlling? Can anyone guess what do you mean by controlling? Owning is directly I am holding the shares. What do you mean by controlling? I am not owning it, but I am controlling it. Can anyone? Any guesses? Yes. So controlling in the sense, we don't have shares in that entity, but we have power to control, power to take decisions by way of agreements, by way of letters, by way of documents, by way of agreements, I can able to control. So some JVs like ONGC Videsh, Bangalore Metro Rail, Mumbai Metro Rail, where it is controlled by central government, controlled by state government, and controlled by partly by central and partly by state governments. So these public sector undertaking were always been a key role in development of our country. So what are all the sectors it caters to? It caters to multiple sectors. You call it coal, oil, steel, minerals, metals, cement, chemicals, fertilizers. All these are also taken care by public sector undertakings. Government is handling all these things, right? You got a fair idea of what is public sector undertaking? So there are more to it. Not only this, this is from a corporate point of view. Let us discuss more about public sector undertaking. So you see, there are departments, right? Like police department, fire department, postal department, railways department, collector office, so many government schools, government hospitals. All these may not be in a corporate form, right? It may be a non-corporate form, it may be just an office, but there is money flow, there are activities going on, there are projects dealt by those offices, there are decisions taken by those offices. So that also should form part of audits, right? All these is belong to public money, hard-earned public money. So if someone is spending unnecessarily, or if someone is misutilizing the money, it has to be get caught, right? So someone has to audit this expenditure, someone has to audit these programs, someone has to audit these departments, right? So few examples, right? So what we have discussed is public commercial enterprises, where it is in the form of corporates, companies, but there are other than corporates, which are departments and offices like Ministry of Finance, Police Department, hospitals, etc. And there are educational institutions as well, government schools, colleges, ISRO, UGC, IIMs, IITs, IIITs, etc. And there were certain bodies also, LIC Housing Finance, etc. So all these are comprises, or all these are form part of public sector undertakings. So who will do audit of this? So the Supreme Audit Institution, SAI, Supreme Audit Institution is Comptroller and Auditor General of India, CNAG. So the President or the Constitution has given power to CNAG to plan audit, to execute audit, to report the findings, to perform different types of audits on these public sector undertakings. The role was given by Constitution to CNAG. Article 148 of Indian Constitution has given that power. Okay. So all these public sector undertakings are subject to audit, and audit will be planned, executed, controlled, monitored by CNAG, the Comptroller and Auditor General. So you can see CNAG here, here, here. And even in this case, although it is independent chartered accountant firms who was appointed as auditor, but the appointment is done by CNAG. So even here in this case also, CNAG is the authority to appoint CA firms as auditor of public sector enterprises or public sector corporates. So after performing audit by independent CA firms, so if needed, if required, CNAG may perform supplementary audit or test audit if they need, if they feel it is necessary. They will also perform supplementary audit. They will also guide, they will also give principles, they will also give directions to the CA firm who is performing audit of public sector corporate entities. So it is CNAG who controls, who has the authority to perform audits of all public sector undertakings or public sector enterprises, right? So CNAG is the only one person. How can he performs all this? So he got a team. That team we call it as Indian Audit and Accounts Department. So C&AG has a team, Indian Audit and Accounts Department, and even there is a step down or there is a next layer to it, which is audit boards, which we'll be discussing soon. So here, hope it is clear. So all these entities are run by public money or run by the taxes which was collected from people. With that money, government is allocating money to respective departments in order to provide service to public, in order to ensure public welfare, public safety, infrastructure, etc. Clear? So this amounts has to be, this spending has to be audited, right? So let us take an example. Once it is audited, report will be prepared. Sorry. So report will be prepared. So this report will be submitted to Parliament. In case of central government, state legislature or state assemblies in case of state government. But Parliament and state legislature may not have enough time to go through so many reports, so many department reports. So there is an intermediary financial committees. Who are those financial committees? Public Accounts Committee, Estimates Committee, Committee on Public Undertakings. So these are the financial committees which will go through all the reports submitted by C&AG. They will summarize for Parliament and state legislatures. Clear? Hope it is clear. So we got understanding of what is PSU, what all entities, departments will form under PSU, who will do the audit of PSU, why audit is necessary for PSU, and the team under C&AG, who is that team, and the reports to whom we will be submitting. We may not be directly submitting. Indirectly, it will go to Parliament or state legislature in case of central government and state government respectively. But there are intermediaries like financial committees which will go through all these reports in detail. Any doubts still here? Shall we move further? Yeah. So let us take this question. Can someone read this question? So what is this question? Let us understand. So BT Limited, a company wholly owned by yeah, please, Ayush.
Yes, sir. I'll
Yeah,
read the
thank you.
question. Yes, sir. So the question is BT Limited, a company wholly owned by the central government, was disinvested during the previous year, resulting in 40% of the shares being held by public. The shares were also listed on the BSE. Since the shares were listed, all the listing requirements were applicable, including publication of quarterly reports, submission of information to the BSE, etc. Sam, the FM of the company, is of the opinion that now the company is subject to stringent control by the BSE and the markets. Therefore, the auditing requirements of a limited company in private sector under the Companies Act 2013 would be applicable to the company, and C&AG will not have any role to play. Comment.
Yeah. So any guesses? Ayush or someone? Any guesses?
No, sir, I guess that should not be the case because
Why? Why so? Why do
C&AG,
you think so?
because these are the different things. Constitution has directed CNAG for the audits, so that's
Correct?
a separate thing going on, and one separate thing, or we may call it the additional requirement which the BSE and the markets are putting on the company. So
True.
there would be two requirements for the company to fulfill.
Perfect, perfect. Can you answer me how much percentage is still owned by central government?
60% because disbursement investment is 40, so that
Correct,
would be
correct, correct.
60%.
Good, good. See, here we need to see carefully. So, what is under purview of C&AG, what is not under purview of C&AG? So, under purview of C&AG, it is 51% or more. So, in the question, it is very much clear. Previously, it was 100%. Wholly owned means it is 100%. It went for listing and it disinvested 40% of shares being held by public, right? So still it is 60% held by central government, 40% is disinvested, 60% is still held by central government. The 60% criteria, which is more than 51%, still it is comes under the purview of public sector undertaking. Hope it is clear. So quickly you can go through the answer. So the opinion made by Sam is not correct because it says 51% or more, means not less than 51%. So still, still 60% of shares are with government. Hence, it is a public sector undertaking, and C&AG has all the authority to direct the auditor, direct the company, come and perform multiple types of audit whenever it feels necessary. So we will come to framework. So recall the uh, aerial view which we discussed earlier. Okay. So audit under PSU, we have 5 sections as I told you. We understood PSU. Now we move to framework. Then we'll go to elements and types. Sorry, principles, types, and audit report. So we are discussing the first set or first section, framework. So this was already been covered. So it is done by C&AG, right? Through whom C&AG is one person. It is not a group of persons, right? So C&AG, the person who is in that role, he has a team. The team is Indian Audit and Accounts Department, correct? So Government of India, Constitution of India has given that power to C&AG for performing audits. So which are the articles through which C&AG got power? What does those articles says? There are 4 articles starting from Article 148 to 151, which talks about who will appoint C&AG, what are the duties of C&AG, okay, what kind of authority C&AG has. All those details are covered under Article 148 to 151. Let us have a look. So the appointment of C&AG is done by President. So Article 148 of Constitution, it says, okay. In case of any misbehavior or incapacity, let us say the person became unsound mind, the person became not in a capacity, okay, to perform his functions, perform his activities. So he has to get removed, right? Or he may involve in some misbehaviors, okay. So then C&AG has to be removed. The person has to remove his take out from his position. Salary and other conditions also has to be determined by Parliament, right? So all these are from 148. So there are certain duties, what he has to do, what is the role, okay? All these functions and powers are being discussed in Article 149. So in the next few slides also we will discuss what is the role of C&AG. So you already got a good basic understanding of what is the authority, what the roles of C&AG. Further going, you will also understand how C&AG helps financial committees, how C&AG helps Parliament, what is the role C&AG place with these departments also we'll get to know. So Article 149 we'll discuss in detail. So next we have, so how in which form the accounts has to be submitted, it will be told by Article 150. And Article 151, it talks about, so audit reports of C&AG relating to the accounts of central government, state government should be submitted to President or Governor of the state, who shall cause them to lay down before Parliament and state assemblies. So if it is state government, it will be going to Governor and then to state assemblies. If it is central government, it will go to President and then it will go to Parliament. So these are the constitutional powers which C&AG got. So who can become C&AG? How many years the person can hold the office? We'll see. So a person who became a C&AG, okay, he can hold the office for 6 years or up to the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. So let us say a person aged 62, he joined the office. So 6 years or 65 years, whichever is earlier. So he need to be there for a term of 3 years, he should vacate it because he already reached 65, right? If a person at 58, he took the position as C&AG, he can serve 6 years because 58 to 64 he can serve, and 64 he can vacate the office. Is it clear? Next, so let us see. So PSUs we have done by audit done by C&AG through IAAD, right? We know what is IAAD. So under IAAD there are audit boards. So we know audit IAAD, right? So under IAAD there are audit boards. So who are these boards? Again, subcommittees or another set of people who are reporting to IAAD, and IAAD in turn reports to C&AG. So these audit boards, they can be there, they can go to multiple departments and do audit. They don't have any legal setup. They don't have legal entity concept, right? So they don't have any legal recognition. So as an individuals, based on C&AG's directions, they will go and they'll perform the audits, and these people, while performing audit, they may found some irregularities, they may found some issues that they have to discuss with concerned department people, and only after that they need to submit reports to, compile and submit reports to IAAD or C&AG. So audit boards have been directed, or directions for audit boards also will be provided by C&AG under the control of C&AG. So they don't have any legal department or legal entity kind of thing. They are just like employees of IAAD office or employees of C&AG office. It is clear? So let us look at audit boards. So if a question directly comes from audit boards, describe functions of audit boards, activities of audit boards, this is what you need to write. So audit boards is constituted by Indian Audit and Accounts Department. So for conducting comprehensive audit appraisals, working of the public sector enterprises engaged with diverse sectors of the economy. So the role of C&AG and IAAD is performed by audit boards on ground. So these are the people on ground who are working, who are visiting PSUs and performing the audit appraisals about how public sector undertakings are working. Similar to CA office, right? So there is engagement partner. So understand C&AG as an engagement partner. So there are managers, there are directors, there are managers who are IAAD, and there are articles who are audit boards. So it is that simple. So C&AG is responsible. The engagement partner is responsible. The one who is signing is responsible for the audit. But he alone cannot go to 10 places. He alone cannot do 10 areas. So he has managers under him. Managers also cannot do all the work. He also needs support. So this IAD also needs support of audit boards. So the groundwork is done by audit boards. It will be given to IAD and finally it will be given to C&AG. Similar to CA setup, similar to professional CA firms. You can relate to that. So they don't have any separate legal entity. They are not like a firm or proprietor or something. Okay, they don't have any separate legal entity. They just work under the supervision and control of the C&AG. Whenever necessary, these audit boards needs experts' help. Similar to our auditing standards, whenever auditor needs help of experts, he'll take help of experts. Similarly, audit boards also will take experts' help. So all the items which are subject to audit in case of PSU are not financial oriented. When we go to types of audits, we'll see there are different types of audit: financial audit, compliance audit, performance audit, proprietary audit, comprehensive audit. So let us talk about performance audit. So in case of performance audit, you want to know how the money was spent, how the factory is running, how the building is constructed, how employees are working. So probably audit boards, IAAD and C&AG may not have expertise in that area. So they need help of experts. So audit boards also takes help of experts whenever there is a relevant. So any findings, any conclusions similar to audit. So there we will discuss with TCWG, those charged with governance. Here also every organization has someone who is TCWG or on the role of TCWG, right? So even if you talk about police department, there is one guy. Even if you talk about government school, there is an headmaster or a principal, right? Government college, there is a dean, right? So there are multiple persons who are heading the organizations, heading the enterprises, heading the departments, who you can consider it as TCWG. These TCWGs, the findings which are done by audit boards have to be discussed with these TCWGs. And finally, all this has to be compiled and given to C&AG, who in turn will compile as a report and submit to financial committees, right? So it will not directly go to parliament or president, it will go to financial committees. Everyone, audit board is clear, audit, right? So this will be submitted to financial committees. Who are financial committees? PAC, EC, COPU. Okay. So after this, these are financial committees. After this, it will go to parliament or state legislature respectively. So what does financial committees does? They got the reports. So auditor has given findings. Audit boards, C&AG has given findings. So they not only see what has happened, they also see why it has happened. They do root cause analysis. What is root cause analysis? Anyone? Any guess what is root cause analysis? So why it has happened? Okay. And let us say, how can we mitigate that? How can we place some controls in order not to repeat certain things? Okay. So let us take an example. A purchase was made without accepting the quotations from multiple suppliers. So through which PSU has spent a lot of money, or a tender has been given to a related party, right? Without calling for quotations. So now you put a committee or now you put a policy in order to review those things so that it will not happen next time. So it is not just understanding the findings which is given by audit board. Financial committees will review those findings, observations. They will do root cause analysis. They will find the suitable control. they will implement it in order to mitigate such risks not happening in future. So this is the duty of financial committees. So let us read objective of financial committees. Clear? Yes. So now we will discuss in detail about these financial committees. So we have three financial committees, which is estimates committee, PAC and COPU. Okay. So what does this estimates committee will do? And why do I classify them as pre and post? So you understand, if something has already happened and auditor has audit board has went ahead and checked it, okay, it is post-mortem. Audit is post-mortem, right? So that case, then the reports will go to PAC and COPU. Let us say government announces that next year we will have 10,000 kilometers of road widening, okay, or we will construct 50 government hospitals, or we will extend railway lane for another 5,000 kilometers across northeastern states, right? So these are all future projects for which they got railway ministry will prepare the estimates to be submitted to parliament, right? So there are ministries which will tell that this is the expenditure we are going to do in order to ensure public welfare. Metro rail project by state governments, Mumbai Metro Rail, Bangalore Metro Rail, Delhi Metro Rail, Hyderabad Metro Rail, okay? So before implementing it, before executing it, they will put this in state assemblies and parliaments in order to get approval. So before going to get approval, these estimates are reviewed by estimates committee. Okay. So what is the duties of estimates committee? So it has to check the estimates which were made is accurate or not, whether there is an alternative option available, whether by any way can we reduce this cost, by is there any unnecessary expenditure. Just for an example, every village, if you want to go for super specialty hospital, let us say this was proposal made. So you want to take land, you want to construct new building, and you need to place everyone. But estimate committee suggests, just for an example, every village has some kind of medical setup by way of RMP, by way of some land and some building, basic building is already available. So estimate committee says, instead of building a new setup, buying a new land, why don't you use the existing land and existing facility wherein the basic healthcare is taking care? You can also extend it for super specialty hospital. Okay. So with which the cost of building super specialty hospital in every village will be reduced. I'm just giving you an example. So estimates committee will find an alternative or will try to reduce the unnecessary expenditure. Clear? So we will first discuss about estimates committee, then we will go to PAC and COPU. Okay. So what does estimate committee does? So what it does, it sees any improvements to be done, efficiency, it suggests alternate policies, any alternate availability is there, right? It's suggested that the money which was mentioned in that is well within the limits or it is overestimated, right? All this is public money, okay? If someone took an estimate of 1,000 crores and spent 800 crores and 200 crores was misutilized or spent unnecessarily, right? So then 200 crores of public money is went waste. Okay. So estimate committees saves that money. So although it does not comment any upon policy approved by parliament, but if there is an evidence, that a particular policy is not leading to desired results or leading to a waste, it is duty of committee to bring it to the notice to the house. So this is the role of estimates committee, which is part of financial committees. Now we'll discuss about PAC and COPU. So the Public Accounts Committee and Committee on Public Undertakings. So we will understand both by comparing side by side. Okay. With one table, we'll understand both because both are post-mortem. Estimate committee is pre. Before spending, you are doing an audit. So estimates is prevention. Okay. This is cure. You understand. Now you already spent it, but you need to report it. So Public Accounts Committee and Committee on Public Undertakings. So here we need to understand the classification first, right? So what is public undertakings here? So here, please understand carefully. We are using the word public undertakings, not public sector undertakings, right? So here the public undertakings mean public corporate entities, public enterprises, okay? Like Coal India, Bharat Petroleum, okay, Power Grid, NTPC, NMDC, Maharatnas, Mini Ratnas, Navaratnas. So all these companies comes under public undertakings. So it is taken care by Committee on Public Undertakings, where C&AG does not perform the audit directly. It will appoint CAs for performing an audit. In necessity, in case if it feels necessity, it performs supplementary audit or test audit. So those are covered under the purview of Committee on Public Undertakings. Rest all like departments, government schools, colleges, all these will be taken care by Public Accounts Committee. Right? So how it is working, what are the findings, expenditure review, whether it is authorized or not, whether you have made unnecessary expenditure. What we perform generally in audit is also done by these committees. So let us see this. So the first distinction. So here we are reading 3 questions. We are reading functions of each committee and differences between both the committees. So the function of PAC is to exercise financial control functioning of government departments. Function of COPU is to exercise the financial control on PSUs. So both are exercising financial control over functioning of public sector undertakings. Okay. So here, please, you can make a note. Public sector undertakings is the word used in ICAI material also. So which mean it is government owned companies, statutory corporations, government commercial undertakings where government hold 51% of more ownership. So which runs in the motive of commercial or business purposes. So in short, it is corporate setup, corporate entities. All of the departments, schools, colleges, collector office will come under the purview of PAC. The activity is same, but the scope or the entities which they are doing is different. Next, both examine the reports and accounts. So who will prepare reports? The audit boards of IAAD under the supervision of CAG will prepare reports and that will be submitted to PAC and COPU. In case of departments, it is PAC. In case of public undertakings, they'll submit to COP. Even the C&AG reports also will be submitted. They will also get examined by PAC and COPU. So this is what we generally do. The expenditure incurred was authorized or not, whether the money disbursed was legally on the service for the purpose which they have applied. So you may be knowing this, that money which was spent is for the purpose for which it has taken, right? So you have taken for the purpose of laying roads, but you have utilized for some other purpose. So even in Caro, in audit, we discuss this. So what purpose you have obtained the money, the same purpose you need to utilize that money. Reappropriation, distribution of funds has been made in accordance with the provisions made. So there were schemes like direct benefit to people. So multiple state governments, central governments, they transfer money directly to beneficiary accounts without involving any intermediaries, right? So whether that money is reaching to the beneficiary or it has been taken over by intermediaries, brokers, etc., or some department officials. So that also has to be checked. Here you see whether they are being managed in accordance with sound business principles and prudent commercial practices. So here we are discussing about, in COPU, we are discussing about high level, where all the activities of public undertakings have been carried out with sound business principles. So here there is no business principle. Here we are talking about, let us say, government school. Here you have not applied any business principle. Here you are running, let us say, petroleum, you are running oil, you are running minerals, coal. So you need to see there is profitability earned by this company, similar to other businesses. Example, BSNL. So BSNL has to run in a way to earn profit. NTPC, NMDC, Navratnas, Miniratnas, all these should be run with the motive of business, right? So here you are talking about business principles and commercial practices. Probably you may need to give ads, right? Here you won't do that. Police department, you have fire department, you have, here you won't do that. Here you should do it. Next. Any other item which is outside the scope of PAC will also be considered by COPU. So any other item which is outside the scope of PAC, sorry, some special engagement or speaker announces that conduct some investigation or perform some audit, then they can direct it to COPU. Clear? So these are the functions of individual committees, and differences between both the committees was also been covered in this slide. Shall we see a question? So, any doubts here till here? Yeah. Next, we'll discuss about role or support of C&AG. So what a C&AG does? It performs the audit. It will submit to financial committees. Let us say financial committees need to check some accuracies, some documents. So financial committees will come back to C&AG and ask for some support. So C&AG is a friend, a philosopher, guide for financial committees as well. So later, these financial committees will compile and they will forward it to Parliament or state legislature as applicable. So the role of C&AG and the procedure followed after C&AG submits the report is what we are going to look at, which we have already been discussed, but quickly you can read it. So if you got any doubt, raise your hand and ask doubts. Keep reading it. So as we have discussed, financial committee's objective is to scrutinize, is to identify the root cause and take necessary action to mitigate the issue, mitigate that risk. They need to take, similar to management responses in audit. We obtain management responses. We found certain misstatement. We will go to TCWG to rectify it. If they rectify it, we will issue a clean report. If they don't rectify it, we will modify the opinion, right? Similarly, here, it is not about rectifying, it is about understanding the root cause and mitigating the issue from root level. So it should not happen again. So these committees has power to reach out to respective ministries. Let us say you found some misutilization or misuse of power. Let us say there is big government college, medical government college, a dean there. He is taking money from people to take admissions, right? So it's misuse of his power. The government has given him authority to give education, to provide education to those who are merit based. But this person is misusing his power and collecting money and he's doing such things. So now that has been understood or that has been identified by audit boards and it has formed part of C&AG report and it is submitted to financial committees. Now financial committees will ask questions to them, questions to the dean, questions to the principal of the college. What is your response? Tell us the response. So they will interrogate, they will investigate in the matter and they will take necessary actions before going into the parliament. So that is what committees does. So here you see the first it starts with C&AG role, then it starts procedure followed after C&AG submit a report. So if you by heart it, it is not easy to recall. If you remember like a story, if you feel like there is a person who is walking like C&AG and he is going and submitting the reports, he was a friend, he was a philosopher and guide. Okay. So thereafter there were committee peoples who are doing some verification, but they need some support. They call C&AG, right? You need to prepare like a small story in order to recall this. Understood? So if the time is not available, if committees could not able to obtain the responses from respective ministries, if they have not given responses, etc., they can put everything in the parliament and state assemblies directly to noticed, it get noticed in the house itself. So hope we are clear about role or supported extended by C&AG and the procedure followed after C&AG submits the report. So I told you that article constitutional powers so of C&AG. Now you understood what is the role of C&AG in PSU audits, right? So we are done with framework. So out of 5 sections, we are done with framework. We'll quickly take to 5 MCQs so that you'll brush up your knowledge or you'll just revise it. Yeah. So very simple, not the real example or not the way The exam scenario based questions are little detailed. This is very simple scenario, just for understanding purpose, right? So you can read the question. Can someone read the question? Based on understanding the question, we'll take up questions, MCQs. Can someone read the question? Yes, Ayush, please.
Yes, sir. So this is case one, framework of audit of PSU. The scenario is ABC Power Corporation Limited. Sir, am I audible or not? Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, yeah, perfectly audible. Yeah.
Yes, Ayush, you are audible.
Okay. Yes, sir. So ABC Power Corporation Limited, where government holds 78% equity, runs hydro and solar projects. The company is being reviewed by an audit board. Ravi, IAAD Junior, notes the statutory auditors issued an unmodified report. The internal audit reports to the CFO. Ministry has an MOU with ABC containing performance targets, but no public version exists. Procurement above 200 crores were routed through a special committee whose minutes are missing. Ramu, company ED, insists since statutory auditors gave a clean report, C&AG need not question the transactions. Ravi asks how the audit framework mandates, scope, roles, limits, guides the C&AG and audit board in this situation.
Yeah. So the first question is the C&A's authority to audit a government company like ABC primarily arises because A. Government shareholding exceeds statutory threshold. It is listed on stock exchange. It has foreign investments. Its management invites AAD. What's the answer? So it's A, which is government shareholding exceeds a statutory threshold, 51%, right? So if statutory auditors issue some unmodified audit report, can C&AG, what is C&AG? Cannot question any matter, may still carry out supplementary comprehensive audit, must accept only financial aspects, is bound to withdraw his audit. So what is the right answer? So the answer is B, it may still carry out supplementary or comprehensive audit. So within PSU audit framework, the audit board's role typically includes whether audit board is role is to setting up government policies, conducting comprehensive appraisals and associating technical experts, approving management decisions, preparing the company financial statements. So what could be the answer? So the answer is B, which is conducting comprehensive appraisals, and if needed, they can also take help of experts. What is the correct immediate step for Ravi under the C&AG framework when he sees missing procurement minutes, committee minutes, and MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, performance gaps is to? So he should record observations, seek explanations, supporting document, and escalate to audit board. The relationship between C&AG audits and statutory audits in PSUs is best described as. So it is not a competing audits. It is not statutory audit reports to C&AG. He doesn't report to C&AG. It's independent but complementary, right? The statutory auditor will perform his duties, and C&AG will also, if necessary, they'll perform supplementary audits. So this is just to make sure that the framework you have just discussed is understood or not. We'll come back once we are discussing with elements to answer the next set of questions. Sorry. Hope you can see my screen. So we done with the first section. We are moving to second section. Don't forget the aerial view, which will guide you throughout the presentation, throughout the chapter. While revisions also, even in the exam also, you can quickly recall if you remember the aerial view. Elements of audit of PSU. Nothing new. If you recall the definition of assurance engagement, this is what it is. You have three parties: auditor, responsible party, and intended users. You have subject matter criteria and subject matter information, and you have types of engagement, which is attestation engagements and direct reporting engagements. Can anyone help me out? Can anyone already know what is these elements while discussing assurance engagements? Any guess? Anyone wants to try? See, what is elements of PSU? Three parties, right? So let us talk about a simple company where you have management, right? So management is the responsible party who prepares the financial statements as per financial reporting framework, right? And once you apply financial statement with the financial reporting framework, it becomes subject matter information. A financial statements complied with financial reporting framework. So please understand, we have financial statements, which is subject matter, which complies with financial reporting framework. Let us say IGAP, let us say Ind AS, let us say IFRS, let us say US GAAP. Once you apply the criteria, that becomes subject matter information. The financial statements in compliance with financial reporting framework, right? Who does this? TCWG or management does this. And this will be submitted to auditor. Auditor performs the audit and he will give enhanced assurance to intended users, nothing but the stakeholders. The relation between three parties is understood. Next, if this is the way you do it, you call it as attestation engagements. Example, our statutory audits. We are clear. I am repeating it once again for clarity. You have management, you have CFO, you have finance managers who are responsible parties who prepares their books of accounts in accordance with financial reporting framework, and that financial reporting framework complied financials submits to auditor. Audit performs audit and he gives an opinion. By giving an opinion, by giving an independent opinion, the stakeholders will get enhanced assurance, credibility, right, by the auditor. If directly it has given by responsible party, the intended user does not feel the credibility, does not get the complete assurance. But if an independent party verifies and tells, then the intended user will get assurance. The credibility of the document submitted is enhanced. If this is the case, we call such engagements attestation engagements, where auditor expresses his opinion. Let us say auditor directly taken the subject matter and he applied the criteria. Okay, he applied the criteria let us say, auditor, he took the subject matter, which is financial statements, and he applied the criteria. Such engagements, we call it as direct reporting engagements. We'll see such engagements. What are those engagements? Details of those engagements we'll see. So the example of attestation engagements are financial audit. The examples of direct reporting engagements are performance audit, and you have compliance audit. Okay. So we'll see that in detail. So just give me a second. So we look at the ICAI material. Hope you see my screen. So who are these three parties? Auditor, responsible party, intended users. What is this subject matter, which I have explained? Hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what are types of engagements? This is important. They may ask for 2 marks questions, right? They may ask questions from here also, because this is also basic, right? Here you see. So types of engagements, attestation engagements and direct reporting engagements. So in case of direct engagements, sorry, attestation engagements, the responsible party measure the subject matter against the criteria and presents the subject matter information to the auditor, who in turn gathers sufficient appropriate evidence to provide a analysis. In direct reporting engagements, it is the auditor who measures and evaluates the subject matter against the criteria. So please do remember this, because we are going to apply this knowledge in types of audit. So here now, examples. What are the examples? Financial audits are always attestation engagements, whereas performance audits and compliance audits are generally direct reporting engagements. So in case of performance audit, the responsible party, he does not measure the subject matter against the criteria. It is the auditor who measures the, evaluates the subject matter against the criteria. Hope it is clear. You understood the elements. Elements is simple. Elements is simple, but once you understand the elements, you will understand the next case, which is types of audit. So please let us recall. We discussed framework. We are in elements. So who are the three parties? Which is subject matter, criteria, subject matter information, types of engagement. Okay. You know who is the auditor. You know who is the responsible party. You know who are the intended users. And this is what the difference between three. Okay. And thereafter you have two types of engagement and examples of two types of engagement. So this is about elements. Anyone has any doubts in elements section? You can ask. Otherwise, we will discuss. Quickly, we'll discuss 5 MCQs. Yeah. Any doubts in elements? Everyone is clear? So let us see this. So PQR fertilizers, central government holding 60% under supplementary audit. He observes 450 crore subsidy claim is recognized in receivables, though no formal sanction letter is on file. Although there is nothing, no document available, they have recognized 450 crore subsidy. Store register shows a difference of 23% when it compares with physical inventory. Normative standards from ministry are not used for key performance indicator measurement. So the ministry will send some KPIs. What is KPI? Anyone know what is KPI? What is key performance indicator? So key performance indicator is that which you need to measure the performance. If I want to measure a student performance, the key performance indicator is marks. The key performance indicator is attendance. If I want to measure key performance indicator of a machine, I'll see the output it generates. I see the breakdowns. I see its utilization, right? Similarly, if I want to see the performance of financials, performance of the company, I have PBT, profit before taxes. I have EPS, earning per share. I have multiple ratios by which I can understand the performance of the company, performance of the machine, performance of the person, right? So such you call it as KPI, key performance indicator. Internal audit exists, but scope excludes subsidy verification. So now Ramu, who is management, says we followed the accounting policy. Physical gaps are clerical. So under the audit objectives for a PSU, the treatment of 450 crore subsidy receivable should primarily be tested for. Why would you test it? Is it for existence? Is it for occurrence and authorization? Is it for presentation? Is it for nothing? So it's for occurrence and authorization. So the most persuasive audit evidence to verify the subsidy claim would be, what is the important audit evidence? So whenever which audit evidence is important? The third party audit evidence, right? Which is sanction order, official communication from the ministry, and the bank confirmations that you may receive some money as subsidy. Next, a 23% variance between store register and physical stock affects which audit elements most? Evidence, right? Evidence and assertions. Okay, regarding materiality and risk, the subsidy is material to PQR financials. The auditor what he should do? While he is doing audit, what he should do? He should increase audit procedures, seek external confirmations, and consider disclosure implications. So in a supplementary audit, the auditor's reporting obligation towards C&G primarily requires so C&AG performs a supplementary audit. Okay, it comments on the audit report also, the conducted by CFO. So the elements of audit is pretty much from assurance definition point of view, and it was not new to you. We are clear with the elements. Next, we'll go to principles. So principles, again, we all know what are principles of audit. we have general principles, we have principle related to audit process. Let us not discuss more about it here in this chapter because you already know this. So can anyone quickly explain what is ethics and independence? Which standard talks about ethics and independence? Integrity.
SQC, yeah, SQC one, sir.
Yes, yes. Similarly, professional judgment, due care, and skepticism. It also from SQC1, quality control from SQC1 and SA 220. And you need team who are good enough or who are experienced enough to perform the audit. If they don't have enough skill, you are sending the wrong person to the audit. So the principles are pretty much known to you. It has been covered in various chapters, other chapters of audit, right? So we will not cover it, and even the ICAI material in this chapter does not talk much about this also. Okay. Next, principle related to audit process. Everyone is clear, right? Principles, general principles. Anything new here for you? Next, we have principles related to audit process. This is also pretty much, you are aware of this. Just have single reading. Shall we take few questions in principles? So, we'll move to types of audit. So, how many types of audit we have? We have 5 different types of audit in case of PSU, which is financial, compliance, performance, comprehensive, and proprietary. So we will deep dive into each type of audit. We understand what it is. So the homework which you need to do, you can make a note. The elements which you have discussed, right? You make a note for better understanding. In case of financial audit, who is the auditor? Who is the intended user? Who is the responsible party? What is the subject matter? What is the criteria? What is subject matter information? Right? So you fill this document for each type of audit. So you'll get so much clarity on these types of audit. I'll be explaining you. You can also, while I'm explaining, you can also grasp that this is the criteria. Okay. So this is the subject matter. This is the subject matter information. So he is the responsible party. How do we classify? Let us say a question is framed, a question is asked. Write about differences between financial and compliance. Write about difference between financial and performance. The elements will give you a quick start for writing the answer of an audit or of these questions. So differences between these and describe about each type of audit is a basic question. You can anticipate, you can expect. Describe financial audit, describe performance audit, describe proprietary audit, define performance audit, right? and difference between each audit, one another. Okay. So while discussing, back of the mind, keep the elements which you have just discussed, keep the elements so that you understand, you get more clarity between one type of audit to another type of audit. I am telling you, there are questions, scenario-based questions, wherein we will be solving one of them. They will give you a scenario, and you need to identify uh, which audit covers this kind of scenarios. So the segregation, the distinction between one audit to another audit is very much important to know. And you can only do it by way of understanding the elements in each type of audit. So with this background, we'll move further. Financial audit. We all know what is financial audit. So all the chapters which were discussed previously is all about financial audit. To express an audit opinion that financial statements are free from risk of material misstatement and they give true and fair view, enhance the degree of confidence. So once you perform the financial audit, okay, C&AG express an opinion as to whether the financial statements are prepared in all respect in accordance with the applicable reporting framework. So here you need to understand, they are talking about audits of departments, right? So audit of departments is directly done by IAAD, directly done by C&AG, not by independent chartered accountant firm, right? Similarly, you have true and fair view. So financial statement is straightforward. You know the elements behind financial audit. We'll move to compliance audit. Sorry, before moving to compliance audit, we'll see what is the C&AG power to direct the auditor. Okay. So section 143.5 would have been covered, but here we'll see this. So whether the company has system in place that all accounting transactions through IT system happening, and the implication of processing accounting transaction outside IT system on the integrity of the accounts along with the financial implications, if any, may be stated. So nowadays, you talk about, even for a small company, they are maintaining books of accounts in an application, right? Simple POS machine, right? They are maintaining it through IT system. So PSU, you talk about government schools, colleges, or big corporates, they definitely have IT systems. Government implemented that. Now, accounting transactions, whether it is happening within IT system or outside IT system. If it happens within IT system, we have something called as audit trail. We will know who has made it, who has changed it, who has deleted it. If it is outside IT system, if it is, let us say you made it in Excel, so no one has control over it. C&AG is telling to chartered accountant firm that check whether company has anything which is outside IT system. So probably you may be the one who are doing article sheet. They would have seen the depreciation calculation is done in Excel, right? So it is outside IT system, but whether the final depreciation entries are passing in the books or not. And many a times you may see the audit adjustment entries, they will, while performing an audit, it is passed in Excel, but it is auditor's duty to check whether it is subsequently accounted in books, right? So anything which is outside IT system has to be checked in detail, and whether that has been posted again in ERP or not, we need to check. So C&AG is instructing CA firms to verify this and report it if there is any deviations. Next, any restructuring is happening in the company, you need to report. Any government funds you have received and it has been properly utilized for the purpose it is, you need to report. So this is the responsibility imposed on the CA firms by C&AG who are doing corporate PSU corporates, public corporates, entities like NMDC, NTPC, Coal India, etc. You have any investments, quoted, unquoted, okay, all these things also, whether they have been done valuation as per Ind AS or not, that also you need to check and report it. Next, you have any key risk areas, whether they are formulated or not, that also you need to check and report. So this can be a direct theory question which can come, okay. So please do revise this, all these 6 points, okay. So if it is a listed entity, whether it is complying with the rules and regulations, listing regulations, if it is a bank, RBI, if it is like BSNL, I told you, TRAI, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India rules, you need to follow, etc. You need to comply with the other rules also. That also has to be verified by the auditor of PSU. So the 6 points is clear. Anyone got any doubt here? So this is C&AG through 143.5 telling the auditor to do this and report it separately. It's part of financial audit. Once we are done with this, so we'll move to next type of audit, which is compliance audit. So what is compliance audit? Name itself has everything. Let us say you want to verify Factories Act compliance, Gratuity Act compliance, RBI norms compliance, exclusive, specific compliance audit. So here we discussed while we are discussing elements, I clearly told you that financial audit is a type of attestation engagement. Compliance audit and performance audit are examples of direct reporting engagements. So what is direct reporting engagements? Auditor himself will go and obtain the subject matter. Let us say he take the book, he take the documents, he collected the evidence, and he will directly check with the subject matter criteria, which is here the law. The criteria here is law. Hope it is clear. So you check, you collect some documents. Let us say you collected employee data, and now you are checking gratuity. For whom gratuity is applicable previously, it was more than 5 years. Now the recent amendment that we are not discussing. So you need to find out whether an employee who served in the company more than 5 years, whether, and he kind of retired or terminated from the role, whether he paid gratuity as per law or not. So auditor himself doing this, auditor himself is checking the subject matter against the criteria. So this is direct reporting engagement. So this is not attestation engagements. So the elements, you should keep on running the elements back of the mind. So compliance audit is, you are performing an audit, which is direct reporting engagement, where a subject matter you will collect and auditor himself check the criteria. Clear? So we will see definition and we'll see what it deals with, and we'll see types of compliance audit, again subtypes, right? We'll see audit process. Definition is, as I told you, compliance audit is an independent assessment of whether activities, financial transactions, and information, which is a subject matter, is in compliance with regulatory and other rules which govern by the audited entity, the applicable criteria. So there are so many laws in India. You talk about GST, you talk about income tax, you talk about Factories Act, you talk about RBI Act, Banking Regulation Act, there are NBFC Act. There are so many acts. So if an auditor performs this in PSU, he takes the information and he performs income tax, whether TDS is deducted up properly or not, whether GST is paid on time or not. Okay. If he performs that, then it is called as compliance audit. Next, what it deals with? It deals with two aspects. One is regulatory, which is pretty much clear that the given transaction, given activities carried out as per law or not, you checked. Next, proprietary. What is proprietary? So proprietary is something where the person who is taking decision, whether he applied the decision or the outcome of the decision would be same if he is spending his own money. Because of public money, he is doing wasteful expenditure. If it is his money, he would have not done it. So such cases, although he got a power to do it, but he should not do it, right? So such aspects also will be reviewed proprietary. So compliance audit will be performed in two aspects. One is regulatory, second is proprietary. So why proprietary is applied? Because the one who is taking decisions, the one who is spending money, he is not spending his money, he is spending public money. So he has to be careful enough. He has to see whether there is any alternative spending I can do, whether by any way I can reduce the cost. So all those things has to be looked into before he applies compliance audit also. So we'll see different types of compliance audit. So anyone got any doubt till here? So we have discussed financial audit. We are discussing compliance audit. The elements are running back of the mind. Okay. Next. Yeah, let me see. There are messages. Yeah. Fine. Good. Next. So we'll discuss about types of compliance audit. So compliance audit, generally, you can do it as a separate engagement, or you can do along with financial audit, or you can do along with performance audit. So it's very simple. Types is nothing but a different type of compliance audit. Compliance audit types here mean whether it can be done alone or it can be done along with some other audit. So three types is compliance audit can be done alone. Second, compliance audit plus financial audit. Compliance audit plus performance audit. But what happens when compliance audit is done as per performance audit? We'll see that. When compliance audit done alone, you know the elements. When compliance audit done along with financial audit, so what is the auditing standard which deals with you need to comply with laws and regulations?
ACAI 250.
So you already have a compliance audit as a part of financial audit. Yes or no? So while performing financial audit, you already have compliance audit as a part of financial audit. So that is the reason that is inherent in financial audit. But exclusive compliance audit is a direct reporting engagement. Now, what happens in case of compliance audit in combination with performance audit? So you treat compliance as elements of economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. If you have notes, please make a note of it. We will be discussing this once we are in another next 15-20 minutes. When we reach performance audit, we'll discuss what is economy, what is efficiency, what is effectiveness. So compliance auditing, when it is performed along with performance audit, compliance is seen as economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. I'll give an example. So Factories Act says if you cross 500 employees, 500 labor working in your factory, you need to have a physician, you need to have a doctor in factory premises itself. Why do you think so that provision is there in Factories Act? Anyone? So the reason is, in case of any unforeseen scenario, unfortunate scenario happened, because the number is huge, okay, Factories Act is not telling you to keep for 50 employees you have a doctor there, but when it is increased the number of employees, you need to have a direct doctor residing there who can be available on immediate basis. So now, not only for that, but even let us say the employees got sick. So if we go for doctor, he'll take rest and coming back will take long time, right? But if you give a treatment and he gets better immediately, so your efficiency will increase, your effectiveness will increase, right? The employee will come back to work quickly and you can generate more output. Although it is compliance, but compliance was also a part of economy or efficiency or effectiveness. So you hold this example for some time, you will understand more detail when you reach to performance audit. Clear? So what is the definition of compliance audit, what it deals with, and the types of compliance audit? Last is audit process. If one has to do compliance audit, so what they should do? What are the stages? How many stages we have? Audit process. Again, nothing new. You can recall your audit process. It is pretty much simple. So it has 5 stages. The first stage is the ethical principles, whether the auditor is independent or not, whether the principles you followed. Okay. You also prepare annual compliance audit plan. The first stage is annual compliance audit plan. Let us say you have been instructed or you have been appointed as auditor for a big PSU. You may not be doing this compliance audit, okay, single-handedly and at one point in time. So what you need to do is you need to prepare an annual compliance plan. Let us say that big PSU has 50 locations, right? So you need to visit at least 5 to 6 major plants, right? So you cannot be there in all 5 plants at one time. So what you will do is every 2 months you visit one big plant, so that in a year you may cover 5 to 6 big plants, even from the materiality standpoint. So you are doing compliance audit. So here the first stage is you will check ethical principles, you will check the skill of employees, you will check annual compliance audit plan is prepared. So this is very macro level audit plan, right? Next, you will do compliance audit. Now you will take, okay, this quarter, this month, which unit I need to do? What is my scope in that unit? So that you will mention in planning compliance audit. You will inform them You will update them that you are coming. You will tell them this is the documentation I need, right? So you will, once you prepare a plan, you prepare number of resources needed for this, how much time you need to complete this. So this is very specific to month or a quarter, and you are ready to go now. Okay, then you will collect the evidence and you will evaluate the evidence, then you will finally report it. What is the audit process? Is it something new you are learning, or is it already known to you? So let us quickly see what each stage comprises of. Although I gave you the understanding, let us see ICAI material also in detail, okay, so that you will, while you study, it will also helpful for you. Sorry, spare some time. Okay, read this quickly. What is covered in annual compliance audit plan? What is covered in planning compliance audits? Understand that. And performing and collection, evaluating the evidence and reporting. Read for 2 minutes. Sorry. So here you have, while planning, what you will do? You establish materiality, you establish risk, you also plan audit procedures. In evidence collection, you through various means, you know all the various means: observation, inquiry, inspection, and you always continually update planning and risk assessment. Not new to you. This is all done in regular audit, not very specific for PSU. This is the way generally you perform audit. So don't alienate this topic. It is what you have learned throughout in many chapters. So if you alienate, you feel like it is something new. It is not new at all. Any doubt till here? We are good till compliance auditing. Next is we'll move to performance audit. Next. Okay. So we have some question here waiting for us. So read the question and give the answer. If someone is ready with the answer, please unmute yourself and tell me the answer. Any guess, even guess is fine. So the question here is, we need to tell we need
Sir,
to tell we need to tell which type and nature of audit it is and to whom report of such audit was likely to have been submitted. Yeah, someone is talking. Yep. Yeah, someone is talking.
sir, it's a nature of complaints audit, sir.
Yeah. So here, good. So here they are telling a prescribed law in the state. Okay. So the criteria is law. So it is a compliance audit. So to whom report will be submitted?
It will be submitted to PAC, sir.
It is submitted to, okay, it is submitted to PAC. Good. How can you say that?
Because it is a department, not that public sector undertaking. If it is a public sector
Good.
undertaking,
Good.
then it will
Good.
go to the Committee on Public Undertaking.
Good. 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 So from PAC, where it will go? From PAC, whether it will go to Parliament or whether it will go to state legislature.
It will go to state legislature, governor.
Nice, nice. So it will go from PAC. Yes, you are right. So if you recall the diagram which we have seen, so it starts with PSU, thereafter to C&AG, and C&AG through IAD and audit boards to, in this specific case, it go to PAC, and from PAC it go to state government or sorry, state legislature or to governor. So that is the entire circle you should complete. Okay. Yeah. Let us see the answer. Clear with the answer? So it's a compliance audit, and yeah, although it has not mentioned about PAC, but PAC is also a right answer, and including that is no harm. It the valuationer will understand that you got a good understanding of the subject, but he restrict to state legislative assembly because it is a state government. Next. So we'll take a small break, okay? 10 minutes break, and we'll come back and we'll discuss performance audit. There are so much to be discussed in performance audit, and I told you to hold one example also. So we can link the compliance audit with performance audit. See, the name itself is performance. So we'll discuss in detail what is performance audit. So let us take a break. Technical team, you can start the break. Yeah, thank you. Students, hope you are back. So what we have covered is, quickly we'll take half a minute and we'll revise. So we saw what is PSU, what comprises of PSU. We saw framework of audit of PSU, right? C&AG role, how it performs the audit. Then we also discussed about elements, criteria, subject matter. Then we move to types. 5 different types of audit will be conducted in case of PSU. We have covered financial audit, we have covered compliance audit. Now we are going to discuss performance audit. Thereafter, we'll discuss comprehensive and proprietary audit, which is forming part of types of audit. Thereafter, we'll move to the last two parts, which is your the audit report, as well as, so we have also discussed principles, right? We have also discussed principles, right? General principles and this. So post types of audit we have left is audit report, with which we will end this chapter. So performance audit. What is performance audit? Let us understand. So yeah. So performance audit, we will be seeing the definition of performance audit, the objective of performance audit, which is triple E, what we have just seen in case of compliance together with performance: economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. So once you remember this, you can easily able to answer the objective of performance audit. Then we have, we have a lot to discuss with respect to performance audit cycle. So how performance audit happens at an overall level and how a performance audit plan is designed. There are numerous steps involved in performance audit cycle and performance audit plan. We will discuss in detail. Let us start with discussing definition. Objective and systematic examination. So what is objective here? The objective is unbiased. So you are not biased to someone. So you are doing an objective and systematic examination of evidence for the purpose of providing an independent assessment of the performance of a government organization, program, activity, or function in order to provide information to improve public accountability and facilitate decision making by parties. So what are we doing? We have entity. We have this. We may perform this audit on entire organization or some program. Let us say government is conducting some program. They'll be distributing books, or they'll be distributing cycles, or they'll be distributing some, right? So there are certain programs which are conducted by government, right? Talk about, let us say, they are going to provide a subsidy. Okay. So some activity or program or organization level or function level, okay, you pick this, one of these, and what you will do? You will examine the evidence systematically and objectively without any bias. So objective is taken care once you are independent. Once you know ethical principles, you should be independent enough. This part is taken care, and you do systematic examination of evidence, okay, for the purpose of giving independent assessment of the performance. So which performance we are talking about? Here the performance of government organization, entire entity as a whole, or a program or an activity or a function. So what is function? Purchase department is a function. HR department is a function. What is activity? Some specific thing they are doing. So that's an activity, right? So why are these people are spending money for public welfare? Whether they are spending it rightly or not, that has to be checked. That is the part of performance. Okay. So we'll understand more once we discuss the objective. So the objective of performance auditing are evaluation of economy, efficiency, and effectiveness of policy, programs, organization, and management. So what are we evaluating? We are evaluating economy, we are evaluating efficiency, we are evaluating effectiveness of organization or management or program or activity or function. So here we need to understand, we need to unlearn what is economy, what is efficiency, what is effectiveness, which you already know. Here we will give you new definitions, okay, based on which you understand this performance audit. So what is this outcome? So it focuses on areas in which it can add value, which have the greatest potential for development. Okay. So why are we doing this? Because the one who pays taxes, their hard-earned money, those should get benefited, right? The targeted government policy should get benefited. Okay. So let us see what is economy, what is efficiency, what is effectiveness. So economy is, if you want to understand, it is buying right or spending right. Make a note of it. What is economy? Economy is spending right or buying right. What is efficiency? Utilizing right. Utilizing in a right way, buying in a right way, spending in a right way. So economy is buying in a right way, spending in a right way. Efficiency is utilizing in a right way. Effectiveness is that for every rupee spent, okay, the outcome you have expected, whether you have received desired outcome or not. If you have, so before spending, there would be a plan. So if your output is matching with your plan, then your performance is good. The performance is effective. If your outcome is not as per the plan, it is less than the plan, then your performance is not effective. Got it? So economy is spending right, buying right, efficiency is utilizing it right, effectiveness is outcome. The output which is desired is as per expectation or less or exceeds expectations. If it is exceed expectations, then you are a good performer. Then the function is performing well, then the activity is performed well, then the program was successful. Government organization is performing well, right? So government function, activity, program, they perform so many activities. Example, daily they will be purchasing. Like any other organization, these public sector undertakings also purchase so many things. Spends money on employees, spends money on capital investment. Let us say company bought 5 crores of machinery, but that machinery is already available or alternate machinery is available at 4 crores. Do you think buying or spending done is right? No, it is not. So here you need to understand, they have paid 5 crores, they have accounted it 5 crores. So there is no misstatement, there is no problem in financial audit. The authority who buys, who approves it, he has a limit of 6 crores. So even in compliance audit, it is not an observation, it is not a finding. But in performance audit, you say having an alternative of 4 crores, you have unnecessarily spent 5 crores. So 1 crore extra you have spent. That is where performance audit comes into place. So performance audit is beyond financial audit, is beyond compliance audit. is beyond paper documentation. So it's kind of judgment. It is kind of public conduct. It is conduct of the parties who take the decisions. Clear? Understood? So that is for buying. Okay. That is for economy. Right? So if a machinery available for 4 crores, you bought at 5 crores, 5 crores is accounted in financial audit, no problem. Compliance audit, no problem. But performance audit, you got to find it. Next, same machinery was not utilized for 10 months. So are you utilizing it right? No. So financial audit, will you make any point out of it? No. Compliance audit, no. But performance audit, yes. You are not utilizing a machinery for 10 months. It was idle. It was idle, right? So you are not utilizing right. So that is efficiency. Now, why you bought that machine for 5 crores is to generate some output or distribute some packets or distribute some rice. Let us say you got paddy with that machine, you can process paddy and give rice to 2 rupees rice at a very subsidized rice to poor people. You bought at high price, that's kind of economy issue. You have not utilized, it is an efficiency issue, but you have not distributed as expected, that is effectiveness issues. So you are ineffective, inefficient, and in economy also not there. With this example, you got clarity. What is economy, what is efficiency, what is effectiveness? Can anyone repeat this example? Try. Yeah. So you understood the difference between economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. So we will go into details. You want more examples? Any resource you can take. You can take any resource. I took an example of machine. You can take example of employees. You can take example of inventory. Someone procured inventory at higher cost. Someone recruited an employee at higher cost. It is economy. That guy sitting idle is inefficient. That guy has to deliver something, but it is not done. It's effectiveness. Any resource, material, man, machine, money, any resource. Clear? So beyond financial audit, beyond compliance audit, you have performance audit. Here, it is beyond documentation, beyond law. You need to see why that party has taken that decision. Although it is under his purview, he has the authority, but just having an authority doesn't allow you to make unnecessary expenditure. A public representative, okay, making use of his vehicles for personal purpose, sending his family members to trips, where you will report in performance audit, right? So all these unnecessary expenditures has to be reviewed, and that has to be curtailed, that has to be reduced. Otherwise, this public money will go for waste. The objective, definition, difference between economy, efficiency, and effectiveness is clear for everyone. So let us see in detail what is economy, what is efficiency, what is effectiveness. Yeah. So performance audit, as I told you, AAA. Economy deals with minimizing the cost of resources used for an activity having regard to appropriate. So it is like you are purchasing something, you are recruiting someone, goods and services, vendors, employees, capex vendors are the decision you are taking, because you have authority till 5 lakhs, will you purchase just 5 lakhs, or will you see whether there is any alternative uh, products available, whether I can, because it's public money, right? So all these things has been checked in case of economy. Okay. Any doubt in economy? Next, efficiency. In case of efficiency, you see the usage. Okay. So how do you see the usage? Let us see. Let us take one more example. It is saying that efficiency is achieved when the output is maximized at the minimum of outputs, or input is minimized for any given quantity and quality of output. Let us talk about a government hospital. You have 4 doctors, 10 supporting staff. Okay. So you use them in order to provide output is maximized. Means in a day, 4 doctors can see, each doctor can see 30 to 40 patients. So you ensure that medical program conducted by PSU is reaching to many people. So output is maximized. Correct? So output is maximized at the minimum of outputs. Okay, inputs. You have 4 doctors, 10 supporting staff. That is a program done by PSU. Now you will try to tell as many people as to take these services for free medical checkup. Okay. So here it is, output is maximized. Next, what is the input is minimized? So let us say, you are doing that facility in a village, a remote village. You know number of people there. You already know. Sending 4 doctors, the people may not make utilize of 4 doctors. So why do you spend more money? So you minimize the input. You send 2 doctors with 5 supporting staff for 3 days. Example, I'm telling you. So here, the quality of output is kept constant, but input is minimized. When you cannot control the inputs, you change the output. Okay. So the efficiency means input-output ratio. If input is constant, increase the output. If output is constant, decrease the input, so that you will get good results. If I have more output with minimum input, that's a good result, right? And if I have desired output with minimum inputs, that is also good. Okay. What is not good? What is inefficient in this case? Can anyone try what is inefficient in this case? What is inefficient? Reverse case. You have increased your output, but by increasing your inputs, you send 6 doctors, you send 7 doctors. The output is same, but you have not minimized your input. You send same number of doctors, 4 doctors you sent. Clear? This can be applied for building. This can be applied for inventory. You need 4-floor building for some project. You build 6 floors, or you called more labor, right? So all these are in approval limits, and whatever spent is recorded. So no problem in financial audit, no problem in compliance audit, only problem in performance audit. So very subjective. Clear? So other questions can also be, you can go through the other questions, but you understood efficiency. Then you have finally effectiveness. So why do you spend that money? Which objectives are achieved in relationship between intended impact? So you check the output. So let us say government is constructing roads, whether more traffic is controlled while improving safety and reducing journey times. So why are we spending more money on roads? So with that spending is right, given tender for right party, and that party is working full time. And finally, once road is ready, are we seeing that the traffic congestion got reduced, the safety is improved, the journey time is reduced? So the final output with the planned output, you check, that is effectiveness. So all these you check in performance audit. You got clarity? So now, compliance audit, when you do in coordination with performance audit, compliance will be seen as part of either economy or efficiency or effectiveness. The Factories Act doctor example which I told you is improving efficiency. So that employee going far away hospital and coming after 2 days, getting treated within the factory by way of implementing law. So that law compliance is also be considered as one of the part of economy or efficiency or effectiveness. Clear, everyone? So this is economy, efficiency and effectiveness, what you will do it in performance audit. Now, if someone asks you the differences between financial audit and performance audit, compliance audit, performance audit, financial audit and compliance audit, you are in a position to write the answer, yes or no? Yeah, thank you. Good. Next. So you have now performance audit cycle and planning. So performance audit cycle and planning. So we need to refer ICAI material for this, but I took these snapshots from ICAI material. So you need to understand what is performance audit cycle, and then you need to go to performance audit. So where is this performance audit plan? So here is the link. So you have individual performance audit plan, which got further divided into the stages. So this is nothing but this. So first you will discuss about cycle. Okay. Then we will discuss about planning performance audit. So let us go to ICAI material. Hope everyone sees ICAI material. Yes. See now. You have Supreme Audit Institution, nothing but C&AG. C&AG has some goals and objectives defined as per articles. So it has goals and objectives, C&AG has, right? That is the starting point. That is the input, based on which they'll make very high level strategy planning. C&AG has to prepare a plan for entire nation. All the government departments, all the government companies, ministries, everyone has to be covered. Very high level plan. That is strategic planning. Once you do this planning, once you do this process, you have an output. So this planning will be done keeping in view of goals and objectives. Clear? So you have an input, you'll do process, finally you'll get output. So you got a strategic plan document, you got an annual operational plan. Very high level, very macro level document. Then this has to be further divided into individual entity level. So what you will do for central government, what you will do for state government, in state government, what you will do for Ministry of Finance, what you will do for Ministry of Health, what you will do for Ministry of Child and Women Development. So each department, you do planning individual performance audit. So once you do this process, you will get an output of individual performance audit plan. So this individual performance audit plan has further breakup, which we will see in a moment. So then you will do preliminary study about the organization, everything. So now we came to very high level to a specific entity, specific ministry, specific program, specific activity, specific function. So where we are coming, look at this flowchart. We are coming from C&AG objectives. Then we have seen high level, nation level document with an annual plan, without which you don't know how to execute it, right? So you prepare that. Then it will be broken down into individual department level, state level, etc. Then you will perform. Once you know, this is the state and this is the ministry, this is the department, I need to check the performance. That is not performing well. Ministry of Railway, there was no significant new rails announced, or people complaining about rails. Example I'm telling you. So now you need to prepare a holistic plan at nation level, then you need to go to department level. So that you will do preliminary step. Second. Yeah. So you will tell the auditee that you are coming, and you will take the items, you will verify, you will do discussions, audit observations, working papers, you do field visit, you do discussions, response, everything is collected, draft report is prepared. You prepare the draft report and it get approval process. Then you'll finally release the final performance audit report. And once report is released with findings, you will not keep quiet. The C&AG will not keep quiet. They will do follow-up. They will give some time to put additional controls, right? The findings, performance audit you did, you found some irregularities. You need to arrest those irregularities. You need to reduce the impact of that errors, unnecessary expenditure. So you come back after 3 months, come back after 6 months, you follow up, you give them time, and you collect evidence that whether they have completed it or not. So the flowchart is clear. We understood the flowchart. So this is performance audit cycle. So at different levels, you prepare different documents. So all are outputs. Okay. Everyone is clear? Performance audit cycle. Next. Now we will be discussing how one can perform individual performance audit plan is what we are going to discuss. As I told you. So from here, now you are discussing breakup of individual performance audit plan. So how do you prepare an individual program level, activity level, function level, entity level performance audit plan? Please understand, this is planning. Are we doing execution here? Are we doing execution? Anyone? We are not doing execution. We are just planning. So this is purely planning of performance audit. We are still at planning stage. So when we are discussing compliance, we discussed planning to execution to audit report level, right? But here we are discussing planning only, planning alone. Performance audit is technical. Performance audit is kind of checking public conduct. It is difficult to perform performance audit. You need to make so many judgments. You need to be on that side of the table to understand what make him took the decision, right? Because you are questioning his power, you are questioning his authority, right? So the other person will say, yes, I got authority to do it, and I have done it for valid reasons. So how do you justify? How do you justify that they have done wrong, that they have done unnecessary expenditure? Debatable issue, right? It's not like financial audit, something to be classified as revenue expenditure, they have classified as capital expenditure. It is not that simple. Something which is law is telling you to do it this way, you have done another way. It is not that easy, right? So performance audit is very judgmental. Okay. Yeah. So now, so what does this include? So identify first. First, you understand the entity. Which entity you are doing, which program you are doing. Are you for which you are planning, so that you is to be clear. What is the objective and scope of audit? Then criteria, we discussed elements, criteria of an audit, right? Then the approach. So how do you collect evidence? Whether you do physical visit, whether you do drone visit, whether you go and talk to beneficiaries, whether you check bank accounts. So what you will do? The approach. Then you develop questions. You prepare a questionnaire, detailed questionnaire, right? Then you check the skills of the employees, whether they can do it or not, or you need expertise. And then you prepare based on these inputs. Based on these inputs, you prepare audit design matrix. What does audit design matrix consist of? Audit design matrix consists of audit objective, audit criteria, audit questions, plus evidence, plus data collection and analysis. Make a note of it. We'll discuss again. See, understand this. You are summarizing whatever you have done in audit design matrix. So, if you understand audit design matrix, you understand the planning. Clear? If you understand the audit design matrix, you understand the performance audit planning. Okay. So let's see here. Now, audit design matrix, what it has? It has audit objective, audit criteria, audit questions, evidence, document analysis, and document collection and analysis. So once you know what is audit design matrix, you can remember the entire flow. The first step is easy. First step is to whom you are doing, which program, which function, which activity. That is clear, right? So second to all the questions, you'll get to know from audit design matrix. Okay. So audit design matrix. So let us see what is audit design matrix. Then we'll again read this process again. So if you eliminate audit design matrix, what is left over? Left over is the approach. Left over is team and skill needed, timetable and resources, intimation to audit program, which is very common, right? if you want to perform an audit, you need to have people. You need to plan for some time. You cannot take them forever. And before you visit that factory, before you visit that auditee, that entity, you need to inform them. Okay. And what are you going to do is audit approach. Clear? Summarized? So understood audit design matrix? So anyone can try to repeat what I said?
Yes, sir. Audit design matrix is that audit, it will contain audit objectives, audit criteria, risk, and audit procedure, source of evidence, expected outcomes. All
Correct,
this
correct.
contains the audit design matrix.
Yeah, yeah. So just a second. So, yeah, good. Now, so let us, so are you able to recall the entire question? This is very important. And this was asked in one of the papers also. Okay. Complex. At the same time, if you understand it, it is easy. We are not executing here. We are not giving a report here. We are not verifying the evidence here. Sufficient appropriate audit evidence is not verified. It is just planning. It is just planning. So planning needs so much of effort in case of PSU audit, specifically performance audit. Performance audit in PSU needs all these things. Okay. So we don't stop here. For every section, there is detailed understanding. Now you tell me, once you understand this, how do you understand the entity? How do you understand the entity? I tell you to prepare a performance audit for a government hospital, that whether the doctors are treating patients correctly or not, whether the government engineer, whether he is building correctly or not. So first you should know, let us say I talk about an entity. You collect the documents of entity. How do you collect? The annual report. The annual report says so many things about the company, right? Previous annual reports. You collect policy documents. What is policy documents? Policy documents are such, it will tell you the policy and procedure documents. It will tell you how do you conduct the business, who is having authority to do it. Policy documents. Research reports. What are research reports? Let us talk about coal industry. Let us talk about petroleum industry, cement industry, mining industry. There are research papers released on these reports, on these industries, on these sectors. You need to collect those reports. We are doing performance audit. We are not doing financial audit or compliance audit. The financial audit, compliance audit criteria is so easy. You have Ind AS, you have set of accounting standards, you stay there. You have compliance, you have an act, you stay there. Performance audit criteria setting is technical. You may need expert. Okay. So determining audit criteria in performance audit is a task by itself. Okay. What is audit criteria? You need to have some yardstick. How do you know that this building will be completed in 6 months, but they have taken 8 months? They have wasted 2 months' time. How do you know this building takes 20 lakhs, but not 30 lakhs? So you need expert there, right? So how do you know this company is making 10% profit or losses, how do you analyze performance audit? So you should know industry benchmarking. So mining industry across the globe is doing 20% margin. Across India, it is doing 18% on an average profit. But this mining entity which you have gone for performance audit is making losses. So you should fix the criteria. Why that companies are doing like this company is doing like this. So you need to fix up the objective, scope, approach, what documents you need to verify. All these things has to be taken care. Okay. So once you understand high level, we'll go into details one by one. So I'll just, the way I told you, I'll take you to audit matrix, then we'll go to one by one. Because once you understand audit design matrix, you can easily answer other items. So what does audit matrix consist of? It consists of questions, criteria, evidence, collection. So because you need to fill objective, so you need to also know objective. Because you need to fill questions, you need to know questions. So you need to draft questions. Because you need to fix criteria, you should know what is criteria. Okay. So these 3 points, you have 3 points. So once you know audit design matrix in performance audit, you easily got another 3 points for you. Rest is you need team, you need time, you need to intimate client, and you need approach, and you need to know first and foremost thing is what entity, what program you are doing. Okay. Once you receive the data, what analysis you do? You do variance analysis, you do trend analysis, you do ideal asset analysis. So many analysis you will carry out. Okay. You got high level understanding. So these 9 steps has details again. So first is your understanding of the entity and program. How do one knows, how do I know what I am doing in this entity? First, I should collect the documents, legislative documents. So under which act this PSU is incorporated? Let us say power sector, let us say telecom sector. You have TROI, you have Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. You need to collect those documents. You need to collect documents which was submitted to PAC, COPU, previous audit reports issued by CNAG. All these documents you will collect, legislative documents, policy documents, internal policy documents, special research documents, past audits, media coverage, what was covered in media with respect to railways, cement, coal, special focus groups, with which you can obtain the understanding of the entity. PSU is not a small entity. PSU is not a firm or a small private limited company or a small company. PSUs, the names I have taken is huge. Railways, you take postal department, you take police department, is not a small group of people, right? It's a huge people, huge team, huge expenditure. So you need to collect all these documents to understand the entity. Nothing new. Understanding entity was already form part of audit, but in this case, you need more documentation to understand the entity, because this is not a private limited entity where you have owners watching, owners reviewing performance on daily basis. Yes or no? So public sector undertaking, no one is kind of reviewing the performance as detailed as they have done in private sector. Private sector, the investors had money, so they review the performance on daily basis. Here, such a huge company, even MD of PSU entity may not got adequate time also to review performance of units across the India. Okay, that is the reason you need an independent party to do performance audit. And while doing performance audit, this is what you need to do for planning the performance audit. Clear? Next, once you got this source of documents, so each document again details they have given. So whatever I just told you, internal audit reports, committee reports, PAC reports, all these documents will cover. Then you define the objective. Why are you doing the performance audit? If you don't define the objective and scope of audit, then you are not doing justice. Are you going there for checking performance of machines? Which machines? Which unit machines? It has to be clear. You are not just going there without objective. So the objective and scope has to be narrowed down to what is expected out of the audit. Which resource performance is expected out of the audit? Is it manpower performance, machine performance, material performance, capex performance, right? So you need to be clear with the objective and scope. And how do you define the criteria? This is very important, very, very important. Please make a note, very important. We will see questions also with regard to audit criteria. So how do you reach to this point? Please recall the journey you have done. So you came from types of audit to performance audit to performance audit cycle. From performance audit cycle, you came to individual performance audit plan. From there, you came to audit criteria. So once you are clear with the chart, then your recall capacity will increase. Okay. So how do you define the criteria? So you have procedure manuals of the entity. What does procedure manuals has? Procedure manuals has what to do, who should do, okay, when to do. All these documents are there. So it is one of the basis for deciding criteria. So those who have already done PSU audits, they would have known the procedure manuals are runs into pages. Okay. So it is not 2-page, 3-page manuals. It is 200-page, 300-page procedure manuals, which I have seen. Okay. Then policies, standards, directives, and guidelines they received from ministries, etc. What are other departments doing? What are other entities doing? Okay, in case of similar activities and programs. What made this mining industry making losses while other mining industries in India are making profits? What are they doing differently to achieve good results? What went wrong with this entity? To fix up criteria, you need to review other entity documents, other program documents. Expert opinion. You are not the expert in all areas. So probably you need an expert. So any other reliable information, general management, subject matter literature, and research papers. There are research papers published for mining industry, sugar industry, specific research papers. So all these things you need to consider for deciding the criteria. Without criteria, how do you measure? Let us say I want to measure students' performance. I should have criteria, right? I want to measure machine performance. I need to have criteria. Without criteria, how do you say it is economy, it is efficient, and it is effective? Without criteria, without yardstick, you cannot measure the performance. So audit criteria, which we have discussed in elements, is very important in case of performance audit. That is the reason this was asked, or these questions were repeated in mock test papers, revision test papers again and again. So deciding audit approach. How do you do audit approach? regularly you perform audit approach by way of observation or case studies, analysis of results. So you do analysis, you do take a use of existing data. So you decide audit approach. What is each element was also described in detail. Then you develop questions. You develop a detailed questionnaire. Then team skills and outside expertise needed. We have already discussed audit design matrix. Then you have timetable and resources. Then finally, once you are ready with the plan, ready to execute the audit, you finally intimate the audit program to audit entities, because if they are busy with some other thing, you going there and sitting idle is not performance from your side. So you should intimate them so that they are aligned and they'll provide you all the documents, all the support for performing performance audit. Clear? So just look at this illustration. What has happened here? State electricity distribution company were to ascertain whether the total cost of providing electricity is being recovered by timely submissions to the State Electricity Regulatory Commission. So what is performance here?
Sir, sir, your screen is not visible. Still, we are seeing only the performance audit cycle and planning.
This one?
Sir, are you sharing anything other than the performance audit cycle and planning table?
One sec. So, yeah. See. I shared entire screen, so fine. Yeah. So, you can see the PDF, ICAI material.
Yeah, this is now visible, sir. Earlier, it was showing only that the planning stage of that performance audit. Yeah.
So now this is clear. This is what you already know, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The
Now,
concept is clear, whatever you discussed, but the slide was that only.
Understood. So sorry for that. So see this now. To understand the entity, just spare 2 minutes under each section, so you will recall the entire things. This part is clear.
Yes, sir.
To understand the
You
entity,
discussed very much.
yeah, you need to collect all these documents. Okay. Then what it comprises of, again, they gave details. And anyways, objectives I told you. So audit criteria, spare some time here. Read this. So skills and outside expertise. Audit design matrix looks like this. You have seen this before? Did I show this before? You could not able to see this, right? Previously.
No, sir. This is no, not seen.
So audit design matrix will help you to remember the answer for this question. It would be a good starting point for recalling the entire answer. Although it is seventh stage or sixth stage, but this, if you remember, because all the things which you have done before this has to get documented here. So when you are writing an answer, remember this document, this data you need to fill. So first you write understanding the entity, then you write objective, then you write criteria, approach, questions, team skills. Next, timetable. Once you have people, you also need time. Then intimation.
Then outcome.
No outcome. Planning. I told you repeatedly. I'll go to the slide. I'll explain again. Okay. I'll tell you here again. This is just planning. Execution, we have not even started. You have not even landed in the unit. You have not even went to office. This is just a planning phase. Output is very, very far away. Too far. Okay. So what we have discussed in compliance audit, we concluded. We have objective, we have ethical principles, we have objective, we have executed, we have corrected audit evidence, and we have closed, we have issued audit report. Process of compliant audit is different. Preparation of planning for performance audit is totally different. Here we are just doing planning. That is the reason I told you to remember the entire chart, how you came here. So you came here, you see the slide here?
Yes, sir.
So you came here, I'll take you quickly. You came here from here. So types of audit, okay, from performance, then you have PA cycle, which is high level, national level document, then to PA plan, then to this. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Once you are clear, we'll take a question. What's the right answer? Someone has to tell
Yes, sir.
what is the right answer.
Audit program is not part of it.
Perfect. Good. So remembering audit design matrix is necessary. That is the reason I kept this. Next question. Read the question and answer the question. It is case-based theory question. It is not direct theory question. It's a case-based theory question. What is the difference? He'll give you some names. That is the only difference. But at the end, it is case-based theory question. In case-based theory question, you may not give importance to names and industries. What you give importance is what are they asking? What are they asking? They are asking you to write planning the performance audit. What factors you will consider? I will consider understanding whatever we have discussed.
Yes,
You
sir.
will
We will
consider all these things.
Yes, sir. We will consider understanding.
Clear? Next question. So if a question comes for 2 marks or 3 marks, you write this much. If it comes for 6 marks, then probably you need to elaborate each element as well. Okay. Read this question. Ready with the answer? You know financial audit, you know compliance audit, you know performance audit. Which audit is this?
Sir, this is a performance audit, sir.
This is a performance audit. What is telling you to do?
Briefly discuss our steps suggested to the auditor in planning stage.
Yes, this is the answer. Sorry. Next. This is the question from ICAI, directly scenario based question. Direct benefit transfer. If government is doing some scheme for, let us say, ladies, let us say children, let us say poor people, let us say their health. So they are doing direct benefit transfer. You may be knowing that government informed people to open bank accounts to take the benefit of direct benefit transfer, right? So a live case from government they have taken and they are telling this is the program they have implemented by PSU, Government of India, delivering benefits like wage payments, fuel subsidies, food grain subsidies, etc. What you should do, Office of C&AG, they want to do a performance audit for a block of years in a state of some selected social security pension scheme. Please understand the level of narrowing of scope. Direct benefit transfer is implemented across various initiatives. We are restricting ourselves to state, one state for the block of years, nature, purpose, extent, right? And not all programs, pension program and scholarship programs, not food grain subsidy, fuel subsidy, wage payments. So the objective scope has to be narrowed down. So what could be the objectives of such program, of such performance audit? So let us say I sent you to do this. What objectives you think? What comes to your brain? What you will check?
Sir, my mind will immediately work on triple E, sir. Efficiency, effectiveness, and economy.
Good, good. So could you elaborate further? Apply that, and tell me what is economy here, what is efficiency here, what is effectiveness here. Good starting point.
Yeah, economics here is what is the spending right and buying right we have, from where these that liabilities is occur, the social security pension scheme, how the employee get eligibility, from
Correct.
where it is get, that is a buying right. and the
Yes,
efficiency, how it is utilized, whether that the proper terms and regulation is properly followed to pay the amount, and the
correct,
effect
correct.
and the effectiveness is that outcome of the desired plan. What we in this plan, whether has reached the right beneficiary and right account.
Good, good, good. This is how you end up with the answer. It's a very good answer you gave. Yeah. So that is how you need to reach. Okay. So the triple E will help you to reach. You can, what you said is almost 80% correct. We can do little refinements. Okay. But what you said is correct. So that is for objective. Good. Good. Next, what is the criteria? How do you fix up criteria?
Criteria, what policies the government has done for this, what is the standards, what is the past audit procedure they have done followed it,
Yes. Yes.
what is the deficiency under last audit,
Yes. And
and
also audit criteria we discussed just now that other reforms, you can see other reforms. You can
yes,
see other
other.
states. You can compare with other states, right? Okay. So that also can be audit criteria. So very good, very good. This is what is application based question directly from ICAI. Let us see the answer. You will understand it. So what are the objectives? So the likely objectives in this scheme is whether proper planning and process were in place to capture data of beneficiary under above schemes, whether you are taking that or not. Here, that is what you mentioned. So by implementing DBT, whether are we delaying in payments, whether intended beneficiaries are taking advantage, whether any pilferage or duplication happened. So whether outcome, the effectiveness, this is effectiveness, right? And whether the infrastructure, organization, and management of DBT were adequate and effectiveness. So whether the finally the money is reaching public, is it not reaching pilferage? Whether theft has happened in between, means someone has taken away the money. Whether it is reaching to A means A or it is reaching to B intended beneficiaries. Whether it is reaching duplicate, whether it 10,000 has to be received but 20,000 has to be received. Okay. So these two are talking from effectiveness point of view. Okay. This point is very common. Okay. While implementing this planning process is very regular point what you do. Okay. Now, how do you fix up audit criteria? Various documents of government, which is procedure documents, policy documents, guidelines. Okay. General management and subject matter literature can be used against audit criteria. Clear? Next. So we are done with performance audit. Okay. So in the next class, we will be discussing other types of audit, which is comprehensive and proprietary. And then we left with audit report, how the audit report is prepared. Okay. So anyone has any questions still here? Any questions? Can someone summarize this topic? I'll test your recall ratio. Can someone summarize this? Want to give a try? Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
So, Samyanathan,
Yes, ma'am.
you were not able to summarize?
Yes, ma'am. I can able to summarize, ma'am. I'm waiting for some other to. I'm waiting for
Venugopalji is asking everyone at least one or two concept if you can summarize.
No, he can summarize everything. Everything. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
I know.
Let us give a try, Samyanathan.
Samyanathan, would you like to try?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening.
Okay, I'm taking this opportunity on behalf of others. Okay, thanks for that.
No
The
issues. Yeah.
public, yeah, public sector undertaking is one of the very critical and crucial audit. This audit is not like that statutory audit and other audit because it involved a lot of public money involved. It contained a lot of transactions, various approvals and policies and procedures. So for that purposes, the different type of audit we talked about: finance audit, compliance audit, performance audit, the comprehensive audit, property audit, like that. Then finally audit report. Here how it is formed, like that is a pre and post. There are two type of things are decided. Pre means is the estimate committee, it will come, that how the policies is framed, and whether it is a policy, is there any special advice is needed, like that, the specific, like that, the estimate committee is there. Then under the post audit committee, that PAC will come, and COPE will come, that public audit committee, and committee on public undertaking. These are the two major committee. That PAC will taking care of that department and government department related audit, and they will provide the report to the president. And PAC, and PAC, the COPU will again the public sector undertaking related audit. If it is a state related audit, the report will goes to the governor, state governor. Otherwise, it will go to the president. Like that, the report will be defined. And we have seen that the compliance audit. In the compliance audit, we have to see that subject matter, criteria, and subject matter information, all this will be has to be looked at. If it is a,
Okay.
yeah, yes,
Very
So
ma'am.
good.
his recall ratio is very good. He's
Very good.
taking
Ayush,
10
would
class.
you like to add on, or Sanjay, Mr. Sanjay? Ayush, Mr. Sanjay?
Uh,
Yeah, Ayush.
yes, ma'am. With regard to performance audit, we can lay
Mm-hmm.
some emphasis on the three E's, which we read today, about
Okay.
economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. So, in
Yes.
economy, we see that if we are buying in a good manner or not, if we are spending right or not. In efficiency, we see the input output ratio. We try to maximize output for the same number of inputs, or try to minimize inputs for the same number of outputs. And
Yes.
for the effectiveness, we see if the task in itself is completed or not. If we have the economy, if we have the efficiency, but still the task is not completed, then the things are not working right. So yes, this is the thing I can add. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nice. Nice.
Thank you very
Nice.
much
Nice.
for
Yeah.
listening carefully, because without listening, you will not be able to tell.
Yes.
And
Yes. Yes.
those who try to speak, of course, maybe sometimes we are wrong also. Then also we'll be corrected. And in the examination, you will be able to recall that, yes, this answer I was giving in the class and it was corrected by the sir or ma'am.
True.
So we should always try to give answer, right? So, Mr. Sanjay, would you like to add on something, or Leela?
Which was not covered by Saminath and Ayush.
Yeah. If any one of you, okay, you don't have mic facility, Leela. Okay. Then, okay. Mr. Sanjay, would you like to add?
Ma'am, you're on mute. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So I think Mr. Sanjay is busy. Maybe, or maybe he's having some issue. He's not able to connect.
It's
So
okay.
time is indicating us to conclude the
Conclude.
session. And so you all are requested to revise the same, right? Whatever we have covered, you need to revise. It's we are covering section 3, all the miscellaneous audits like group audit, audit of bank, NBFCs, audit of PSU, internal audit, due diligence, investigation, forensic, all will be forming part of this all. So in next session also, we will be covering remaining part and internal audit chapter. So please thoroughly prepare the concepts, topic, and do writing practice. We'll meet you again on 10th December, right? So till that, you revise the topic properly, okay? Wish you all the very best. And thank you, Mr. Venugopal, for
you,
the
ma'am.
wonderful session. Thank you
Thank you.
very much. Thank you, Samyanathan and Ayush, for participating. And no issues, Leela, you were not able to, but it's only thing is we should always try to participate, right? Okay. So with this, thank you. Thank you, support team. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, students. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
Good
good
night.
night. Ashok ji? हाँ जी.